They could have used the prophecies of a cure. Okay, a cure is an Egyptian that broke down certain prophecies, things that you do, but they don't know about that. You understand? These wells run deep over here, so they can talk all that. Now they want to jump back and say that they're going to deal with the things that we brought out, right? Especially the things that I brought out. But here's the mistake.
Especially the things you brought out.
And I want them to. They supposed to. And the reason why they listen, the reason why they supposed to, because what you gonna find, what they do, they make it up as they go along. And to prove it, and here's why. Because they just ask them. Every translator, every single translation that came off the walls, they used the Hebrew to translate the Metal Netta. They used the Hebrew to translate the Metal Netta. They used the Hebrew to translate the Metal Netta. Right. Nobody could refute that. They used the Hebrew to translate the Metal Netta.
You heard what he said.
So now, if you use the Hebrew, that's factual. Nah, that's factual. That's factual. So now look at everybody that made a translation. What language did he use to translate the Metal Netta? You'll find out that it was Hebrew. You see, and Polite, he's very disingenuous. He's a see-through Hebrew. He don't want y'all to know that. But I know he is, okay? That's factual. That's factual.
And Brooks, a German Jew, Semitic scholar. You're going to see it on when we move. We'll get to Brooks. Please move to the next slide, Elder. We shall see that Budge contradicts his statements as we continue. Now, he states that Egyptian language is one and the same with Semitic. Then he's going to contradict, only to come back again. Please, if you can go to the next, in that box there. Yeah.
In the first of these, the writer, an Egyptica Leipzig, has treated the geography of Egypt and her colonies historically and chronologically, and has grouped in a clear and systematic manner all the facts that were available at the time when he wrote the book. In the second, the author collected a mass of material of the utmost importance for the student of Egyptian geography and philology, right? His book clearly of value because he possessed a good working knowledge of Hebrew and other Semitic dialects.
Again, Hebrew and Semitic dialects being used. Another play on the stage. Okay.
And was able to use it authoritatively in dealing with Egyptian forms of Semitic words and place names. Every Egyptologist must lament the untimely death of this sound scholar. I have also obtained much help in identifying the original names of Syrian and Palestinian places mentioned in Egyptian texts. Nunzans de el Tefeln, Leipzig, 1907, and Winkler's complete edition of the text from the Tal al-Amarna tablets. Whenever possible, I have added the cuneiform originals in the Egyptian geographical list from the Tal al-Amarna tablets and from the historical inscriptions of the kings of the later Assyrian empires, which flourished between 1350 and 620 BCE.
See what's being said. Cuneiform references, Semitic place name references, Leipzig and Winkler. Where are they from? Germany. Who are they? Jews. What are they using? Hebrew and other Semitic languages. Okay, let's move forward, please. Okay, Budge is going to biasly affirm using the Journal of Biblical Society of Archaeology and Egyptian words used in Coptic, Bible, and what do we have here?
Patristic
literature, even usage of it. And then N comes from the Coptic in Deuteronomy. Those boxes in red and here will reveal what I just stated there. Take time with me, please, if you can read.
Read it, okay?
Yes, please.
All right, I decided that many references to the older printed literature must be cut out, and only a limited number to recent publications omitted. Further, it was clear that the names of the authors and their papers printed in the Ruelle des Travaux, the Transcentations and Proceedings of the Society of Biblical Archaeology, the Archaeologia of the Society of Antiquaries of London.
One stop. Do you see what's happening again? The Biblical Archaeological Society is controlling and determining what goes on in the decipherment of this language. Okay, please, if you could go to the next.
I'll read the next portion.
Yeah.
Following the meaning of the word, and at the end of the entry is often given the equivalent of an Egyptian word in the latest stage of the language. I copied it. And so these equivalents, I have not copied them straight out of the dictionary, but have satisfied myself that they bear the meaning which the Egyptian words have in passages of Coptic versions of the Bible. And in Coptic patristic literature generally, great corpus of the Coptic words under which Mr. W.E. Crum has been at work for so many years been available, the number of Coptic equivalents quoted in this dictionary will probably have been quadrupled. The Hebrew, Syriac, Arabic, and other Semitic words quoted in the entry stand in a different relationship to the Egyptian, for they merely represent borrowings of words, usually by the Egyptians from the Semites, whilst the true are native Egyptian. They seem to me to stand in quite a different category from the pronouns which were borrowed at a very early period by the Egyptians from the people whom, for one better name, we call Proto-Semites.
They use the Hebrew to translate the Meronetta. They use the Hebrew to translate the Meronetta. They use the Hebrew to translate the Meronetta. So that when you got to understand that when they use the Yahweh, the moon, the tune, and with the Yahweh, ask them what period was that in. Ask them what period that was in. That's Shemitic. They borrow Shemitic vowels and languages. This is factual. So now with the stuff they want to deal with me, Polite made a mistake. Watch this.
There's a language called Shemitic. What language are you talking about?
Hold on.
Just tell us what language.
When I use that term, Shemitic, we know that that's a modern term that those people that went to those areas use in order to separate the people.
No problem.
So don't play games.
Know
you know I know
this,
and you got it.
About.
So now,
but they didn't use Hebrew.
Let me get with
that. They couldn't use Hebrew because Hebrew didn't exist.
I'm gonna give it to you. Watch this. While he's talking. Now here's the funny part about this whole situation. What they don't realize, what Reggie does, and what they're gonna try to touch what I brought out. Please do. Now, Polite used the Hyksos. He said, oh, you know what? The Hyksos. I want you, don't ever forget this. He said, when he spoke to Gabar, when the Hyksos came in, that's when all that homosexuality came in, right? So now he's talking about the 12 dynasty. Now, when you understand this dynasty, here's another fallacy that the brothers use. Now, when they say, is this good for Eric Garner, and they pulled that situation out, here's the problem. Every Nasut went by his own will. There was no codified law for the Nasus to go by. That's factual. Right. So when you talk about that, they brought that up, and you need to hear this, man, because you the one that brought that up. Which one? You brought that Stella, right? Yeah, the same one. Now here's why it don't mean nothing, because when you have a codified law,
you moderate.
When you have a codified law, right?
Yeah, we can get on that.
Right.
That was no codified law.
But that was one Nasut. All Nasuts never thought the same. They never codified. So we have one code, and they thought differently. I'm gonna pass the mic because it's a bunch of. And let me tell y'all this one thing. Don't you? I'm gonna give it to them. So now listen. The mistake that they're making is this. They saying that they're gonna go ahead and fix this tape, that tape. Listen, the onslaught is coming. It's not gonna stop.
I'm surprised y'all took it light on Shaka when Shaka dealt with the King James and he just tore that shit up. I'm surprised y'all took it light on Shaka.
Hey! Danyaahla! Check him, Dan! Check him, Dan!
Shaka really tear it up? Did he really tear it up? I don't understand what he did that tore it up. Because let me tell you something. What I presented in 17 slides trumped everything he presented in over 2 hours. So I don't see what he presented that was so powerful. I don't see it. You see what I'm saying? Now, I'm gonna say this real quick, and I'm gonna pass the mic back to Hashsar, right? So let me get this straight, right? Let me understand this, right? The brother Reggie said that they're gonna respond to the information that Hashsar presented, right? But you won the debate. If you won the debate, why are you presenting information after the debate to answer the question? That's right. After the debate. And if I'm not mistaken, my brother Polite just inside. My brother Polite, I remember seeing an interview where Polite said that after the debate, he don't even speak to the people he debate no more because he done killed them already. So if you killed us already, why are you responding to information after the debate? You know why? Because you know damn well that you didn't kill no damn body. You know damn well, man.
Tell him, boy.
You know, my man did a PowerPoint on King James.
Yes, I did.
But he ain't addressed Diana, Queen of the Fairies, that King James is scared of. How the fuck you gonna do a whole hour on King James and not address the goddamn fairies and the witches he's scared of?
It was about him being homosexual.
Oh, now because it's not on topic.
It was about him being homosexual.
No, my man.
It was about him
my
being
man,
homosexual.
if you telling black people, if you telling black people that King James is the man we gotta fuck with,
That's not what I said.
if you telling black people to read the King James version of the Bible, and you
It's being a homosexual.
I know how to get when I get on the mic.
I know how to stick to the
See how they
subject.
get when I get on the mic?
I know how to stick to the
Yo,
subject.
you see?
But light don't know how to stick to
See
the
how they
subject.
get?
See
Every
how
time
you
I
always
get on the mic,
Yeah, because
they can't help
you talking
themselves.
shit right.
So now this is what I'm gonna do.
funny.
There's no excuses for what he's saying. My people, he's telling everybody, read the King James version of the Bible.
That's not what I said.
Yo, listen.
That's not what I said.
Listen. Shaka did a presentation before the debate.
About him being a homosexual.
Now watch this. Now watch this. After Shaka does his presentation before the debate,
I debunked it.
at a debate he didn't speak at, after the debate, he rebuts what? Not the debate, but something that took place before the debate.
Who asked me to do that?
So
Who
now,
asked me to do that?
now hold on.
Wasn't
I
my
didn't
son
ask you.
never asked me to do that.
Now
Son never told me to do
Now
that.
here's the question.
Now you want to act soft.
Here's the question.
Now you want to act soft.
Here is the question.
Tell him polite. Tell him.
Now you want to act soft. Fuck out of here. Now you want to act soft for shit.
I don't mind if it's true. I don't mind. But yo, my brother, I'm not gonna do a whole hour on King James and ignore the fact that the motherfucker was scared of fairies and witches. I'm not gonna do a whole hour on King James and ignore the fact that the motherfucker was scared of fairies and witches. I'm not gonna do a whole hour on King James and ignore the fact that the motherfucker was scared of fairies and
Held up
witches.
the book. Demonology. But he didn't open the book in front of you. I'm actually going to go into the book and show you what's actually in the book. Page 5. It says, the author usually gives you the intent behind the publication of said book. On page 5, the last 4 sentences. By the way, again, I told you this book is less than $20 on Amazon.com. I would advise everybody to get it, if you can. Right? My intention in this labor is only to prove 2 things, as I have said. The one, that such devilish arts, talking about witchcraft, have been and are, meaning witchcraft has been around for many years, and it was during his time. The other, what exact trial and severe punishment they merit, meaning that he was saying that what punishment should witches get during his time. That's all this book was written for. It wasn't written because he was scared of some goddamn damn and fairies, all that garbage. That's polite added that, and that's garbage, all right? Note that on page 2, role in some of the witch trials. I'm going to show you why in a second. Next slide. Brother Malak, go to the next slide, all right? Now, this is a message to the reader. This is on page 92. By the way, brothers and sisters, page 92 is the end of the book. So if you see somebody presenting about page 116 in this book, page 92 is the last page of the book. Now, check this out, right? Page 92. But to answer such, let this suffice, that first, it is well known that the king is a child and servant of God, and that they, talking about the witches, but servants to the devil. He is the Lord's anointed, and they, but vessels of God's wrath. He is a true Christian and trusteth in God, but they, talk about the witches, that are infidels, for they only trust in the devil. But hereby it seemeth that is magnanimous and undaunted mind, not feared with enchantments. Let me say that again. Let me say that one more time. Not feared with enchantments. But Polite said in this book, he was afraid of fairies. Is that what the book says? Is that what the book says? If you think I'm lying, I have the copy over there. I ain't afraid to show it to you. Not feared with enchantments, but resolute in this, that so long as God is with him, he feareth not who is against him. Does that sound like what Polite presented to you, brothers and sisters, on February 8th? And by the way, this is what you call a primary source, because the king himself wrote this. So I didn't make this up. Let's go. Witches plot to poison King James, page 83. She confessed that she took a black toad and did hang the same up by the heels 3 days, and collected and gathered the venom from the black toad as it dropped and fell from it into an oyster shell. And she kept the same venom close covered until she could obtain any part or piece of foul linen that had appertained to the king's majesty, as a shirt, a handkerchief, a napkin, or any other thing, which she practiced to obtain by means of John Kurz, who, being attendant in his king's majesty, desired him for old acquaintance between them, to help her to one or a piece of such cloth, which thing the said John Kurz denied to help her. Let me help you understand what that's saying in case you don't. The reason why King James had a problem with the witches was not because he was scared of witches. We just read that he didn't fear nothing. The reason why he had a problem with the witches is the same reason why he had a problem with the Jesuits. Because the witches, just like the Jesuits, they were plotting to kill him. Does everybody see that? Does everybody see that? What they were trying to do, they were trying to get a shirt or a handkerchief or a piece of napkin, and they would poison it. And they would give it back to him, and he would put it on, and they would kill him. That's why he was killing the witches. That is why he was killing the witches. Now what Polite said, that is why he was killing the witches. Why didn't he open the book and show y'all that? Because he's a coward, man. He's a coward. All he wanted to do was put my face up on the screen to get a few cheap applauses and a few cheap laughs. But Polite is not a scholar. I'm saying that Polite is not a scholar. And if you think that he won the debate based on that garbage information he presented, you are delusional. Next slide. Now we can understand the statement better that was in the Basilicon Doron, another primary source. Instructions to be merciful with exceptions, page 83. But as this severe justice of yours upon all offenses would be but for a time, as I've already said, so is there some horrible crimes that you are bound in conscience never to forgive. These are instructions that he gave his son. He was bound in conscience, his son, Charles I, was bound in conscience never to forgive certain crimes, such as witchcraft. Why did he tell his son not to forgive witchcraft? Because the witches were trying to kill him. So he told his sons, look, they was trying to kill me, don't forgive them. Willful murder, incest, especially the degrees of consanguinity, sodomy, and
I'm not going to do a whole hour on King James and ignore the fact that the motherfucker was scared of fairies and witches.
So we're going to give the Donkey of the Day award. If you are from New York and you listen to the Breakfast Club, we're going to give the Donkey of the Day award to Brother Polite. Why are we going to give the Donkey of the Day award to Brother Polite? I'm going to give him the Donkey of the Day award because you have to be a donkey. You have to be an ass to lie about a book that costs $20, man. Damn.